Greetings, citizens, and welcome to another adventure of the Real Comic Heroes podcast. My name's Travis.
And I'm Patrick.
And if you're new to the show, each episode we review a comic book movie to see how it holds up today. You can find our list of movies over at realpodcastnetwork.com. And we have a guest with us today.
Hello.
That would be Rory.
I'm really bad at the
my
guest
arch
intros.
nemesis in Spaceballs fandom.
Yep.
Well documented.
Yeah.
So Rory joins us from Hangover Reviews and Doghair Presents podcast.
Yeah, the name of the show is Doghair Presents. It's soon to be a network, but as of now, it's one podcast.
Your media empire.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Right on. So, what are we talking about today?
Superman, and I will not tell anyone what version it is. You'll just have to guess.
Shouldn't be too hard.
Yep.
You mean the Richard Pryor movie that features Superman?
See, I was expecting a lot more of him.
Oh, okay.
I was actually surprised. I thought it was just going to be shoved down my throat. Hey, everybody, it's Richard Pryor.
Right.
I mean, we get that, but, I mean, I don't know. I was expecting way worse.
Right on.
But, yeah, we'll get into that. This movie starts off really interestingly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think my vision is still trying to correct itself. I don't know what happened. I'm hoping you guys have the same experience. Otherwise, I got to see an eye doctor.
This is my favorite movie of all time, so...
Talking about the credits being really hard to read.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's what I'm talking about.
Bad.
It was like the bottom of the screen blurred.
Yeah.
And then I was
Yeah.
like, wait, am I getting old and I need bifocals?
No, that was definitely a problem with the movie, not you.
God. I was like, what is going on here? This was a very confusing, start to a movie.
Yeah, it was all over the place.
I really wanted to like this just so I could be counterpoint
Yeah.
to everything that you guys would say.
Right.
And I'm going to do my best to stay positive.
Okay.
So.
Right on.
But, yeah, I'm still recovering.
Oh, so where do we start with this one? I guess we'll make our guest go first.
Yeah.
What do you got, Rory?
Well, like the whole first 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, if you didn't know it was a Superman movie, you would assume it was like a Richard Pryor comedy, like see no evil, hear no evil, or something like that. It's very, very 80s Richard Pryor movie.
Totally.
Yeah, it made me think of a Mr. Magoo episode with that blind guy.
Well, everything. It was... You got bouncy music, the hot lady that distracts some guy,
Yeah.
I guess it's one of the villains, but
Yeah.
that she distracts somebody, which causes a chain reaction.
Yeah.
There's someone on rollerblade, or I don't know if they were rollerblades, probably not, but roller skates, telephone booth shenanigans, toy penguins that are on fire. Like it just goes on and on. And then there's like an unrelated bank robbery that I thought was going to play a bigger role into kind of.
Yeah.
I thought that's what was going to incite Superman to actually.
Nope, it was the flaming
jump into
penguin.
the action.
It was the penguin.
I like though that Clark is the one that handled the penguin, and it's it's such a small thing.
But he put it back into traffic.
Yeah, there's that. I thought the penguin on fire was going to cause a bigger fire.
Yeah,
that we would have. A need of Superman for that, but no.
Yeah. I thought the penguin was going to show up from Batman. I thought it was going to be like, the rogues.
His missile. So,
The guy even gets a pie to the face.
Yeah, pies to the face.
This made me think of the wind blowing scene in the second Superman.
Yeah,
I
it's
read
similar
something
to that,
about it was something that Christopher Reeve said later, that if there was an opportunity for a gag from Richard Lester, the director, he would do it, which is Richard Lester is the guy that took over Superman 2. So
Gotcha.
I think, I wanted to give him some, I guess, benefit of the doubt that maybe it's just the script. Maybe that's not who Richard Lester is as a director, but now seeing this one and then reading that about him, going for the gag anytime, like I blame him.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. I do like the photo booth once Superman does show up and he changes in the booth and almost reveals the secret identity kind of thing. Like, I actually do like that little beat. But...
Yeah, that's this movie. It's got some glimpses, but yeah.
I like that he tears the bottom one off and gives it to the child.
Yeah. I dig that.
So that was a good touch in a scene that was like, I don't know, was that supposed to be like a Rube Goldberg experiment of sorts?
Basically.
Like, yeah. It's like this, we'll get this to get a guy drowning in a car from a fire hydrant or something, or whatever that was.
Which, that's not a terrible, like...
Just weirdly jaunty music, and I don't know, it was bizarre.
Yeah.
But it did give me an idea of what I was in store for, though.
Yeah.
So...
Does the bank robber get away?
I'm pretty sure. I don't remember seeing him ever again.
I can't remember what happens.
Because for a moment I thought, oh, he's the guy that ran into the fire hydrant, and it was his car that Superman saves.
Wasn't Superman like shaking his hand like?
It's totally just some
just
random driver that the bank robber I think caused to wreck. Like I don't know. So
we're off to a good start.
Weird start. Yep. Yeah. So I'm glad we all kind of, we're all basically on the same page as far as where we're at.
Yeah, I was just like, oh man, I don't know where this is going.
Yeah.
But did we see Richard Pryor in that a little bit?
We see him at the unemployment office.
Yeah, it's after that, right?
That's
before that?
It's one of my first notes is, we met Gus Gorman.
That's right. His name's Gus. Duh.
And I actually enjoy him like in the unemployment office because like Rory said, it is like a 80s Richard Pryor comedy movie. And he has that nice balance of a stand-up comedian acting. In some movies they try to do too much of their stand-up material or too many jokes, when you get a stand-up performer. I don't know how many movies he had done. I think, Silver Streak and Hear No Evil, See No Evil. Like, I think he'd done those prior to this, so he's had some experience acting, obviously. But I think he did a good job as far as not being too stand-up, like too much of a stand-up comic in a movie.
Let's not forget his movie as the toy. A black man turned into a toy thing of a white overprivileged child.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that's what that movie was about.
It was a super rich family, and the boy had Richard Pryor as his toy.
Oh, my God.
Like, he did everything the little white kid said.
Wow.
I mean, they hit that, like, over and over. Like, it's meant to be like a sort of, hey, remember racism and slavery?
Oh, wow.
Let's make a comedy out of that.
Okay.
I think Stir Crazy was before this.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah.
I just remember Silver Streak with him and Gene Wilder.
Yeah.
I like that one.
I always remember the one where there was that Hear No Evil, where the one's blind, one's deaf.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of as well, like, because of the humour with the blind guy as well. That movie was just in my head while watching this.
Well, I did write down or look up the taglines for this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Forgot to bring it up right up the front here. So they have 5 taglines for this movie.
I'm glad they gave us options.
Marketing really had to try hard on this one. They got Superman versus the King of Computerized Crime. Which, sure.
Kinda.
He's sort of just a weaselly little, like, it's hard to say he's bad, but at the same time, he destroyed a country.
I've got notes about that later.
So,
we'll get into that.
I don't think I'd call him a kingpin or anything like that, but then they got the world's superhero in his toughest adventure yet.
Man,
I wouldn't call it.
That's fine.
And this time is going to be the best time of all. Yeah. I just did the yeah at the end. I assume that's what it was supposed to be. And then, if the world's most powerful computer can control even Superman, no one on Earth is safe. Not bad.
That's the best one so far.
That's the best one.
Yeah.
And then, this one's a wordy one. Alexander Salkin presents Christopher Reeve and Richard Pryor as you've never seen them before. True. Except for this is Richard Pryor. With more action, more twists, and more fun than Superman has ever had before. Wow. And that is what I wrote down later on as well. That Superman had some fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nice.
So, yeah. Way to go, marketing.
The first one has my favourite tagline of all time. You'll believe a man can fly. Sure. I think that's a really good tagline.
Yeah, it's classic.
It's hard to follow up from that, I think.
Yeah,
I think Richard Pryor actually says it in the movie.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't believe a man can fly or something like that.
Right, when he's...
Yeah.
And it's after he's seen Superman.
Completely...
I want to say it's where they're floating down in a balloon thing.
Yeah,
to get to the evil lair.
Okay.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. So when we meet Gus, I thought... I knew he was the computer genius in the movie, but I thought he already had that knowledge and ability.
Yeah.
I thought he was just already awesome at with computers and everything.
That would have made sense.
I guess it kind of makes sense because I read that the personal computer had only been introduced 2 years prior to this.
Yeah.
So I guess in 1977, 78. So it would make sense that there aren't too many computer geniuses except for the guys that are, on the front lines of, building them and working them.
Wozniak.
Yeah. So I guess I went into it thinking he was more of a schemer and actually a criminal and who actually used computers for, to get what he wanted. But turns out
he's like Rain Man.
Yeah,
he's like an idiot savant. That's probably the wrong term now, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
he's really smart at this one thing, and he finally found it. Maybe
right,
is what they're trying to do.
Yeah,
I think it's quite clear that nobody making this movie knew how a computer worked, though.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I did enjoy watching the tapes move and right. the little clunking cards in that one scene, but. Yeah, it was
even at the end when they introduced the computerized bingo or
the raffle thing.
The raffle thing for Perry White. Even it tries to take over the room.
Yeah, it was very machines are going to rule us all kind of vibe to this movie. But God, what was that? I still don't know what this was, but I wrote down what the hell is that stylist for?
Oh, yeah.
Did they have that ability back then? When
I don't know.
You could take the pen and
interact with
magic swipe the screen or whatever it was he was doing.
Yeah, I didn't get that either.
They used it twice, too, so it was they kept going to it.
Maybe it was too hard to, because you probably would have had to use the arrow keys to get up to a line of text and then hit the backspace, every letter. So maybe they developed it as a way to pinpoint a specific line of text and remove it, I guess. I don't know. Okay. And especially in a situation like this where they are dealing with lines of code, maybe that is the quickest and easiest way. I don't know if that really existed though.
I wouldn't think so because that monitor looked pretty ancient.
Yeah.
And I don't sense I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to Google search that thing.
Yeah. Let's see. Rory, I know you're a big fan of Lois Lane. How do you feel about Lois Lane in this movie? Or I guess I should say her treatment or,
Yeah, well, she's not in it much. But, yeah, I did read that was due to disagreements with Richard Lester. Same with Gene Hackman. That's why he's not in this one. But actually, the scenes she is in, the two scenes, is it?
Yeah.
I really enjoy, especially the first one. I think she's really funny in it. She has some really good lines of dialogue that are kind of subtle.
Right.
compared to a lot of the comedy in this movie.
Weird.
Yeah, it's like she's in a different movie, because it does feel like her scenes are from that Richard Donner, kind of version of the first movie. But yeah, I would agree. Like, she does do well with what she's given. Obviously, it's not much, and it seems to me like, why have her in this movie at all? If you're gonna send her away, why bookend the movie with her at all? Like,
see, I just assumed that she was being sent away in quotes because her brain's still recovering from having her memories wiped by Superman,
right?
And his date rape kiss power.
Right, yeah. Or see, and it was confusing at the start because they're saying that she's going away, and then they're also introducing this whole raffle thing of someone's winning a trip to South America. So if you have this built into the script, why not just make it Lois Lane won a trip to South America, and then when there's trouble in South America later, have her be there, and then you can have a little moment between her and Superman, and it can be kind of awkward because at this point he is reintroduced to Lana, so there's kind of a triangle thing going there, and it makes no sense to me to have the South America trip where you're sending away some random couple, and then she's also right about to leave the movie. I guess I just would have. I don't understand why not just merge those two together and clean up your script a little bit. But
must have been some bad blood.
Yeah, and read that I think it was Ilya Salkind said that it wasn't a punishment for her speaking out against the way that they treated Richard Donner. That the story just didn't require her, so we wrote her out. Basically, it's like, then again, why not just completely remove her from the script altogether and save one element of, I guess, confusion and just too much that this movie has. So I don't know.
So what'd you guys think of the first big rescue scene with the fire at the chemical plant?
I actually really enjoy that sequence.
Yeah, I think it's good. Yeah.
I thought it was like the first time I remember thinking that Superman uses his brain a lot.
I kind of noticed that too, especially with using that tube.
Yeah.
Or that, I guess, I don't know what it was. Some kind
the smokestack or whatever.
Smokestack, yeah. Using that, using the environment to kind of help the situation.
Yeah, that and the freezing the lake. I mean, it was cheesy, but it was. I was like, is he going to suck that lake into his mouth? Like, what is he going to do?
That's what I was thinking as well, because I couldn't remember what he did.
Oh, okay.
Heading off to the lake, wondering what he was going to do with it.
Yeah.
I do like the use of the lake. I hate that he picks it up by the edge.
Yeah.
Why not go underneath it completely and just pick it up from the center? Like, that's... But other than that, I like the use of the frozen lake.
Yeah. I think the rainfall was a bit much, but
I mean, that's how I think it would.
Oh, really? Meteorologist.
You drop something frozen over a superheated area. Yeah, it's gonna melt and give you rain. Briefly, until the water obviously is gone.
Okay.
Let's see. I dig the guy, the scientist or chemist that's in there. Like, he's just super calm and like.
Oh yeah, he's like, I gotta stand here and
but,
otherwise.
Yeah. Why does he stay in there?
Well, because he's gotta maintain the temperature as long as he can.
I'm assuming he's got like
power.
Yeah. Does he have like cooling?
He's Mr. Exposition.
Yeah. It was kind of cool that it comes back though, like that.
Right.
Volatile acid, whatever it was. I did not see that coming.
Oh, really?
That must have been one of those twists the tagline was talking about.
But that's a good element, like a good callback, or that's it's one area.
See, I tried my best to find good things.
Sure.
In a sea of confusing crap.
I do enjoy Jimmy Olsen in that scene and the movie in general as well. I think he's quite fun.
Yeah, I noted that too, that it makes more sense to have a Jimmy Olsen in this situation instead of the typical like Lois Lane,
Yeah.
So it's another kind of example of, if you don't need her in the movie, don't have her at all. And this is a good example of, it's a situation that makes sense that he would get himself into, looking for those photos, especially after Perry White kind of got on his case about having his camera with him and always being ready, so.
You with your camera, you sleep with your camera.
Yeah, I dig that.
Yeah.
And now we
Lois's
all do.
line after that says, "I'm glad I'm a writer."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, shouldn't she be sleeping with her pen, eating with her pen? Or...
Right. Yeah. Her notepad right next to her.
Or hauling around a gigantic typewriter.
Like later as well, I'm not sure when it was, but when Jimmy's taking the photo of the couple that win,
Yeah.
Perry says to him, you're at one of the biggest, I don't know what I can't remember what he calls it, but you come back with a broken leg and 9 rolls of melted film.
Yeah.
Jimmy says it was hot.
Oh, poor Jimmy.
Yeah.
I always thought it'd be kind of cool if Peter Parker and Superman merged together and Peter Parker was the photographer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they give me the same vibe where they're...
Sure.
I mean, the Tobey Maguire version of Spider-Man.
Oh, okay.
Because he was sort of that goofy, gangly,
Right.
bumbling.
Mild-mannered and
Yeah.
wholesome. Yeah.
He reminded me of Olsen when he was playing Spider-Man. It'd be kind of funny, though, to have those two join forces unwittingly. Although it's probably happened and I just don't know it.
Yeah.
I know it's two
Imagine
different
both.
universes.
Right.
Both trying to disappear when trouble happens.
Yeah.
All right. So Clark's going back for his reunion, eh?
Yeah.
That's a weak news article if I've ever heard one.
It's a tough sell,
Even when he was selling it, I'm like, what are you selling?
Yeah.
Shouldn't this be in like a high school paper, not a
right national?
It sounds more like a sort of column rather than a news article.
Yeah.
If he'd sold it as that, it might have made more sense.
Right.
But we had to get to Smallville somehow.
Pretty much.
Why not?
Yeah. I dig that they're playing Roll Over Beethoven by the Beatles, at the school dance or I keep wanting to call it prom, but it's just the reunion.
Yeah, and they played that Back to the Future song.
Oh yeah.
This is Earth Angel.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, that's an apt piece of music as well.
Oh yeah,
Right.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, wrote that down because I liked it. And then after that, when they're cleaning up, he plays it on the piano as well.
Yeah. That was a nice little
And
cute
poorly.
moment.
I like that he wasn't great at it.
Yeah.
He doesn't have super piano power.
Right.
It made me wonder when he learned the piano at all, though. I suppose when he was growing up, but
Yeah, I imagine the kids had a piano in the I don't know.
Yeah, he grew up in the 50s, so
Right.
they didn't have iPads.
Yeah.
I assume everyone born previously to technology played the piano
Yeah.
and listened to radio.
So is his mother dead at this point?
I
Because
don't
it
know.
seemed like there would be a natural
Yeah, he would
moment
have.
where he goes home to visit his mom. I just assumed we would get that scene, but because I know in the first movie they say Lois jokes about him sending his checks. Well, actually, he mentions I'd like some of my paycheck to go to my mother.
Well, that's in the first one, right?
That's in the first one, yeah. So I don't, and it's probably not a big deal. Obviously, we don't need that interaction, but it would have been kind of nice to have a Clark goes home kind of sequence.
Yeah, she was pretty aged in that first one, so a lot older than I'm used to with.
Right.
And I did not realize Lana. I didn't realize who she was until I saw her in this movie.
Okay.
And now I'm very confused. It's kind of incestual.
What? Oh, just because of the
she
actress?
plays, in Smallville.
Smallville. I've always liked her, though.
Yeah.
This character's kind of annoying-ish.
Okay.
As I don't know. It's very, oh, woe is me. My life stinks, blah, 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 blah. And I get that, but...
I think to me, she felt like someone that matches that small town. I want to get out of this small town kind of person that dreams of going to the big city. Kind of it seemed natural. I thought. So.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it made sense, but it was just she kept complaining about things and her damn kid. Yeah. Oh, that kid. I'll get to that later. Oof.
It just occurred to me now. She's like talking about getting out of Smallville, and then later she was in Smallville.
Yeah,
right. For 11 seasons.
Yeah,
that's funny. I actually really dig the chemistry between Lana and Clark, and I think I felt they had a stronger, like, instant chemistry in the few scenes that they had in this movie together. Like, I felt a stronger connection to those two than Clark and Lois in the first two movies combined.
I can see that.
And I really think I like how Christopher Reeve got to play Clark here. It's almost how he played Clark in the first time he comes to the Daily Planet and he's meeting Lois and Jimmy and Perry White. So it's kind of that goofy Clark, but it felt like this is actually Clark. He's not putting on an act to be Clark Kent. I felt like this was him playing it sincere. So I kind of dig that.
If that's so, he is very fast moving because the next day he's at the bowling alley with her and her kid.
Like, go on the picnic later.
I'm like, damn.
Yeah, it was a little jarring. Like, oh, so he's just like
how much time has passed?
Loading up the car with groceries and like taking the family out for it.
Yeah.
That was a little strange.
Like, you gotta go slow with the single mom. Yeah. All right? Come on, Soups.
Right. I like Brad, the obnoxious townie. That he's one of the guys that ends up in the like end battle in Willow, like kind of alongside Val Kilmer. So I knew I knew I recognized his face, and so I had to look him up. And he's just
he was. I mean, he's obviously a one note kind of joke,
right?
The town drunk, former stud of Smallville High, class of 65, 3, whatever it was.
65 maybe.
Yeah, so I enjoyed that he owned up to that one note that he got because he did it pretty well. I liked him with Pryor.
Oh yeah. I like that they use him as the guy that Richard Pryor has to.
Because I thought, did anyone else think there was a computer in that case?
I did too. Yeah. I assumed he was there to deliver a computer.
I wasn't assuming this
set up a bar.
This mobile bar
makes it seem like he knew that guy's weakness going on.
Yeah,
because it's part of that main guy's company, so maybe he knows. Like,
I guess we haven't even talked about
the villains,
and like where Richard Pryor is at this point.
Yeah,
because we're coming up at the end of the first act, and so Richard Pryor has already scammed the company. With his use of his newfound use of.
And I have a question for that.
Okay.
They can't figure out who took it, but isn't his name on the check?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Okay, so there's that.
Okay.
And then conveniently, he pulls up in a Ferrari, like as the villain is talking about how they're going to catch him. He just happens to walk up to the window and see.
Oh yeah,
Gus
I knew that was going to happen. He's like, only an idiot would.
Yeah, I kind of wish that Gus had been wearing some really like obnoxious suit. Not just like just the car, but going like just flashy. And
do you want to show up like Huggy Bear from Starsky and Hutch?
Kinda.
Just like sort
flashy
of
suit and
a fur-lined suit with
something,
zebra print.
Yeah.
So notice they didn't park in a space. He just parked in the middle of the.
Parks like a real asshole.
Yeah. The fair, I was just thinking, it is a computer printed check, so maybe he could have covered his tracks somehow.
Yeah.
Because he says I should have another check for expenses.
Yeah, $84,000 worth of expenses. Yeah, that whole little beat. It's like, how are you not going to get caught?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because I'm pretty sure there's carbon copy for those kind of printers. Like,
yeah.
Because it looked like it was on reamed paper, and usually they have like the carbon
Double,
copies.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I only know that because I used to work at a medical center and back in the 90s. And we had those awful, awful printers.
Yeah.
Very high tech at the time.
Right. I guess we should talk about Ross Webster and his...
Yeah.
I don't know. There's not a lot to say, really. He's pretty one note. He's kind of boring.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? He skis?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's essentially Lex Luthor.
He is, but yeah.
But without all the complexity and genius?
Yeah, kind of.
Because his sister's the genius
why
part.
They split it into a couple characters, yeah. And then you've got
even the other girl's a genius, apparently.
Yeah, and like not even a good replacement for Miss Tessmacher, but yeah.
I kept trying to figure out what they were leading up to with the blonde.
Yeah. She was just there to be seductive
But they gave her intelligence, but it never paid off really, except she escaped in time.
Yeah, that was just meant to be a one-note joke, I think, or that she was actually smart.
Right.
Because she was hiding it.
Yeah, throughout the movie, it just kept popping up. Like,
so I was like, what's going to happen here? Is she going to take over everything? Like,
yeah.
I thought she was like the true mastermind behind it or something.
That would have been all right.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Robert Vaughn, who plays Webster, is actually one of my favourite actors as well.
Really?
Yeah, he's in one of my favourite movies, The Magnificent Seven.
Okay.
And he's great in that, and he was also in a British TV series for quite a while, more recently, called Hustle, which was fantastic, and he was great in it.
Is he like usually a villain or?
No, well, he was one of the Magnificent Seven, but sort of one of the darker sort of characters in it. And Hustle was about a group of con artists, and he was like the old guy that sort of found them their marks.
Oh, okay. So that one's kind of shady, but
yeah, but they were like Robin Hood types, you know.
Nice.
Well, he was in something else I really enjoyed this film.
I know he's like the villain, I think, in Basketball.
He is with
that's
South Park
the only
guys.
Thing, I mean, I know that I know Robert Vaughn from a lot of things, but I couldn't.
Well, if
he's kind of known for The Man from U.N.C.L.E., isn't he? That's
okay, I thought him and I can't remember that other guy. Can't remember what his name is.
Because I only know him from this and now Basketball, and those aren't two great movies.
Yeah,
it was also I just remembered the other thing I was thinking of the last season of the A-Team.
Okay,
he was in as a recurring character.
Oh, okay.
Where they became like government agents, and he was kind of like their handler.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was ridiculous, but I enjoyed it a lot.
That's the A-Team. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
The last season went very strange.
Yeah, I've only seen it like randomly.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what season I'm watching. So we were skiing on top of a building.
Sure. Yep.
Richard Pryor got caught because the guy drove a Lamborghini or Ferrari into the lot. And he sort of gets blackmailed, like the Webster sort of admires his ability.
Yeah, like he's not upset that he got embezzled from, but is gonna use that to his advantage. Which, as far as villains go, that's fine. You know.
I was glad I got to see this though, because I kept hearing about it in the movie Office Space.
Thank you. I had a note that said, "Who's going to make the first connection to Office Space?"
Yeah, I forgot about that actually.
I love that.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah.
That's the only reference I had to Superman 3, so I knew that was coming.
Which apparently that whole scheme is called salami slicing or penny shaving. So I'd never heard that.
So is that why he's not as mad as I thought he'd be? Because it was the floating half-cent money that was out there?
I think he just like you said, it just admires the know-how in which to use the computer to carry that out, you know.
And it's oddly convenient that he can do absolutely anything whatsoever with a computer.
Yeah, that's where the movie just says, well, we don't understand how computers work, so we can say they can do anything. You know, they can tap into the satellites and change the weather.
Yeah. And why did Smallville have that like nuclear code-esque double entry card system?
I don't know. Part of the Wheat King, which is a subsidiary of this Websco.
Yeah. Awful company name, by the way.
Yeah. The whole using computer. And I
assume there was like a corn silo that actually held a nuclear missile somewhere in Smallville.
Yeah, that cool.
That's what most movies show. Like our missiles are all coming out of silos and cornfields.
Right.
So I assume that's where we were going.
Yeah.
Although I do guess we get that later on when they're fighting Superman with all these random missiles coming out of every which way.
Which they had time to build into the this computer lab layer.
Oh, okay.
We'll get there.
Jumping ahead, sorry.
Yeah. Let's see. Where are we at? End of Act 1, basically, I think. I have written down there's a computer nonsense montage, which I think is when he's, messing with the traffic lights, causing the bank ATM to spit out money, and I forget what else he does, but that, oh man.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be like how I am with like darts and much better at hacking when drunk.
Okay.
Because he was wasted after getting his full bar unloaded.
Yeah, getting Brad wasted. He also got drunk himself.
So I thought he was going to be a way better hacker drunk, but no.
No.
Although he did manage to make the pedestrian lights start fighting, which was a nice visual effect.
I don't even have
that was basically Tron to me.
Okay.
Well,
when I just wrote down, like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you're animating the crosswalk little icons to fight. Like, come on.
Like,
that's that Richard Lester, like, if there's a gag, I'm going to go for it. And that.
I'm pretty sure my eyes rolled so hard they went all the way around.
Nice.
I'm pretty scientifically sure that happened at that moment. Yeah. And everyone's like walking into the street, driving into each other because, people are idiotic like that. Do we talk about Clark's dance moves?
Yeah, we didn't, but I do like that he starts.
I was kind of impressed with his, swinging of the hips, and then it got all slow and romantic. But before that,
it's a good joke to have him obviously dancing kind of to the wrong.
Well, yeah, tune. But he had some pretty good moves. I thought he'd be a lot stiffer, but he was.
Yeah, he wouldn't have stood out if the music hadn't changed.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I give it up to Clark for that one.
Right on. Man. I really like Gus retelling the Superman saves South America story. I just thought it was a clever use of, like...
The tablecloth?
No, well, I just mean, like, as he's talking, like, and then Superman swoops down, and then you see Superman.
Yeah.
Like, he's literally telling what happens, and then it kind of cuts away to Superman in South America. Like, so we...
Yeah. It's kind of funny, though, because he comes in, he's like, it's not my fault. And then he's but it was awesome.
Yeah.
And he was doing this and that.
I especially like that they don't know what he's talking about,
Yeah.
So they haven't even heard that their plan obviously didn't work.
Yeah, they don't have Twitter.
Yeah. They're not up to date.
No. Although, Rory, what did you think about his ski moves? Richard Pryor and his cape?
Yeah. It was very strange, that whole bit. Why is he even doing that if he can't ski? I would not be anywhere near the edge of a building on a ski slope if I couldn't ski.
Well, it's like that's kind of like this whole movie wrapped up. Like, why are they doing this? Why?
I thought Superman was going to catch him because
that would have been good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still had that image of Superman carrying Richard Pryor, and I hadn't seen it yet, so I thought that was going to be it.
Right.
Like, that's how they meet yet again.
Yeah.
But nope, he just...
What does kind of how he just lands, doesn't he? Somehow.
He essentially hits a lower section of the building with like a sloped glass roof, which is enough to...
Stop a 70-foot drop. because he falls a pretty good chunk before he hits that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's a little known fact that Richard Pryor has the strongest legs in Hollywood at this time.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeesh. I did like the tablecloth pull.
Yeah,
I
that was fun.
I must have been kind of like looking down, writing some notes, and then I heard the noise of the tablecloth, and I think what's her name? Lorelei, like she shrieks or something, and then I look up and he's already got the tablecloth. So I don't know. Did he pull off the?
Yeah,
move?
like Bill Murray did a better job in Ghostbusters.
Okay.
He was like, and the glass is still standing.
Oh, right.
But you know, I enjoy a good tablecloth attempt at that magic trick.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker for it.
Yeah. You like that close-up magic?
Yeah.
Let's talk about some the kryptonite as you know, it's brought back as the weapon of his destruction essentially in this movie.
Is this an anti-smoking ad? You add tar and
it
makes things worse.
It's weird to me that they kind of do the same path to get to the kryptonite that they did in Superman. Like they talk about the planet that exploded and there must have been radioactive debris, or meteorites, basically.
Well, they reference his story
Yeah.
where he explains it.
It's just kind of weird. I guess it makes sense if they would have been familiar with that interview from the first movie, so I guess I can give it that, but it just felt like a weird redoing the scene from the first movie, but like Cliff Notes, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, luckily, this thing can scan anything in space.
Yeah.
All of space.
There's the actual creation of that kryptonite, which I'll just use tar.
And it'll still be green.
Any random material.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was Superman and I got that from Richard Pryor,
Instant red flag.
yeah.
Why not? That would have been cool if they'd made it red kryptonite. Because
I know.
It was basically...
Because that's what red kryptonite does, right?
Red kryptonite removes the inhibitions, and then black kryptonite can make the personality split, at least according to what they.
And that's what
ended up
happened
doing
in this one, right?
So it's kind of merging those two
together.
Yeah.
Because I was like, he's supposed to be bad, but he's more just a douche.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Rory, I know you have more Superman history as far as comics go. Did they ever mess with kryptonite much in the comics? As far as like different versions of kryptonite?
Oh yeah, there's tons of that.
Okay. So
I know you're referencing it. I was trying to remember what the red kryptonite does in the comics because it does something slightly different from what it does in Smallville.
Gotcha.
Maybe it does remove inhibitions.
So it's basically tequila for Superman,
right?
I know there's a Superman like family adventures comics, one of the like children's ones, where they had Periwinkle kryptonite that did that and made him dance.
Oh,
a
nice.
lot.
That sounds like Batman.
Yeah. Let me guess. This is like in the 50s.
Yeah.
No, 60s. This was recently, but it was like a very.
Oh, you said
it was.
Okay.
It was like
kids.
A very young children's comic.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Man.
Kryptonite that makes you dance. The
there's
enemy movie Footloose.
Gold kryptonite that removes his powers completely. I think that may be the main ones.
Yeah, I know you covered
black does split them into a good and evil one.
Okay. So at least it's nice that there is a kind of a basis. I just wish they would have leaned into the just make red kryptonite. You know, maybe that tar creates, changes it, in the atomic element structure of it or whatever. And yeah, it was weird to present him with green kryptonite because that would have been like, I'm not gonna take that,
Yeah.
But his manners get the better of him, so obviously he can't refuse an award that he's presented.
I thought
their appreciation.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna hide it better, put it inside a medallion or something, or not just a giant chunk of rock.
Yeah, that was a surprising choice, and
if it was a different color, just for the audience, like a visual representation that it was different from regular kryptonite would have made sense.
Because he seemed more confused than annoyed.
Yeah.
Like he's like, "Oh, thanks, awesome."
Right.
But yeah, if I was presented with like something that could destroy me, I'd be a little
Right.
apprehensive.
And
Well, he probably knows it's not kryptonite though, or regular kryptonite,
Sure.
because he'd already be able to feel it.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, he definitely has that confused look on his face. So it is nice that he's wary of it, but not obviously not affected by it noticeably right away. So yeah, I like how he plays it just kind of confused. Like, why am I being given kryptonite? And it's also not really affecting me like kryptonite. So I don't. Yeah.
I'd be following Richard Pryor.
Maybe like, hey,
what the hell's with
we'll
this
talk to
guy?
you after this.
And that whole scene was just the military thing was kind of bizarre.
Gus's speech. Yeah, that was.
I was like,
Yeah.
Okay.
It goes on for so long, and it's just.
Was that because he saved that chemical plant, right? Because he's talking to him about chemicals and
yeah, he's talking about plastic.
Yeah,
plastic. Yeah.
I was trying to figure out what this was in relation to. I just assumed it was the
technically it would have
plant.
been because of the chemical fire that he put out.
Okay,
Which was near Smallville, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Someway,
yeah.
Yeah.
Or no, I guess the
it was on the bus ride to Smallville at least, so I don't know how close it was, but yeah.
The mayor mentions it when he's talking to him, so presumably it's close.
Yeah. You want to talk about?
Are we going to talk about evil Superman?
Yeah, I think we need to. They go real dark with it, real fast.
Well, at first I didn't know he was evil. I just thought he was just trying to make up for missing that one event because he just straightens out a tower.
Oh no! I want to.
I'm
talking about. I want to talk about him with Lana in her living room. Like, creepy Superman. Shows up. It is uncomfortable, and it's weird seeing Reeve play it. That just slimy and.
I think he is quite good at it though.
I like it.
No, it's done well, but I don't like seeing Superman act that way. It was really weird.
I thoroughly enjoyed this.
Did you?
This is the part of the movie I was like, yes.
It was just that the vibe he was throwing off, and she was uncomfortable, and that was so just. I don't know. I didn't like it. Done well.
It was Clark's,
but it was hard to watch.
It's like it was awesome because Clark is uncomfortable for me to watch in general, but he moved it to a different level, like where it became, yeah. I loved every minute of it.
Yeah, I do enjoy the Leaning Tower of Pisa gag. It's kind of fun.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, it wasn't evil, but it was kind of douchey.
Just a dick move, Superman.
And
I do like the guy.
That stereotype.
Model salesman.
It would have been kind of cool if he went around and screwed with a couple other monuments, I guess, or
it's strange that it's just the one who just went to Italy to do that, and then
I think I kept expecting him to go. I know why I'm thinking of it. I was expecting him to go to Mount Rushmore and put his face on all four faces. But do they do that in Superman 2 with Zod and Non and Ursa?
Oh,
do that?
I think
like
they do
put their
something
own
with
faces,
that.
and then they just blast the fourth one out of.
I think
so
you're
maybe
right.
that's why I'm thinking.
Yeah,
that we would have seen something like that. But.
It would have been cool if he pulled Atlantis from the ocean.
Right.
And Aquaman's like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
But yeah.
I like the. It's subtle, but the darker suit that he just automatically has, I like the look of it.
Yeah. It reminded me of Man of Steel.
It reminded me of Superman Returns, because the cape and the boots are almost that same dark red color. Although that version, the blue is very bright blue.
Yeah, that's
the red in that
blue.
costume was very dark, like this.
Because
it's kind of
Because in Man of Steel, they play on the costume as like a mood, like it's almost like a mood ring of sorts.
Right.
It's like, what kind of mood is Superman in based on his suit?
Yeah.
Does anyone else wonder how Superman shaves?
I know this.
Yeah.
Okay, please explain.
He uses his heat vision and a mirror
Yep.
So it,
and
because
reflects it onto his face.
that's what I was thinking until he melted the mirror in the bar
Oh, yeah.
with
Well, I
his
think
heat
he can-
vision. Can
Doing,
you
like,
adjust?
intensity.
Yes, he can
Yeah.
adjust the
So if he
intensity.
squints, it lessens it or increases it.
I would think like a garden hose. Like you
Okay.
turn on a garden hose and the water just comes out naturally or whatever. But if you kind of put some pressure on the end of it,
Okay.
you know, and you can force it. So yeah, if you squeeze it, it'll make it more intense.
Because I was impressed with the melting of the mirror. Because being
Yeah.
drunk, I thought he'd be a little chaotic with his vision, so it would have been a
Wouldn't even
little
think he could
wiggly.
get drunk.
That's
Yeah.
the other thing.
I
Can he
don't
get
know
drunk?
if he was even drunk. I think he was just angry and drinking because
It's
it
like, this
seemed
is
like
what
the thing
humans
to
do.
Yeah. Yeah. I was.
Although earlier, it does say like things affect him because
Yeah.
it's just before this actually when Lana asks him if he wants a coffee and it says decaffeinated, of course.
Yeah.
So if it,
Yeah, he's walking around kind of iffy
Yeah.
in the when
maybe,
he walks out of the
maybe
bar.
he is drunk.
I don't know.
Maybe in this version, yeah, he's able to get drunk. I guess.
But I don't know if that's like his inner beings fighting, because he
Yeah.
seems that way when he's fighting Clark
right.
as well. Like he's not exactly on point. Like he seems a bit weakened.
Yeah.
Unless there's like, it's like Goldschlager but Kryptonite Schlager. Like there's little flecks of
Little
kryptonite
flex
in
on
it.
his lips.
Oh, Goldschlager! If you steal that from me, I swear to God, I'm gonna make that.
what's that? There is something in Smallville where it says Zatanna makes him like magic champagne for his engagement.
Okay. Right on.
Although, if this is Smallville, that place is riddled with kryptonite,
Yeah.
Yeah.
according to the show Smallville.
Which we know is a historical document.
Yes, just saying.
So I guess we talk about the junkyard fight. 'Cause that's kind of
Yeah.
It doesn't take too long to get from angry, dark Superman to the junkyard fight. I don't think. I mean, I guess there's a little bit more of him. Oh, I guess he messes with the tanker because.
Yeah, I was gonna say he meets
Yeah.
what's her name, the blonde woman. before
Lorelai.
that. Yeah.
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 Oh yeah.
So there's that business with the.
He gets busy.
Oh yeah.
I was, you know what? I was like, yeah, good for you,
I
Superman.
kind of was too. It's like, hey, good on you. I mean,
And it answered the question. She did not get a hole blown through her.
some Mallrats gets it wrong.
Yep, way to go, Kevin Smith. Doesn't know
do you
anything.
know?
What an idiot. I'm sorry, sir.
See, and when they start to talk about the oil tankers, it's another like I thought this was going to be about a weather controlling satellite, you know. So then they started bringing in the element of we'll just steal the world's oil supply. Like, okay, I guess that's now the threat.
And
You know, it
all
just
of those
seemed like-
ships but one listened to the computer that told them to go to the middle of the
Yeah.
ocean.
Which I dig that captain. Like, I don't need a computer telling me how to sail.
It's not that captain. It should have been every captain.
Sure.
Should have been like that.
Yeah,
Unless the ships are completely automated.
yeah,
Any captain would have been like, why the hell would I take my ship to the middle of the ocean?
yeah,
They'd be like, damn, computer's broken. Told you.
yeah.
Yeah, you'd at least radio someone to check it was,
Yeah.
it was right.
Can I get a confirmation that I'm supposed to go to the middle of the Atlantic?
Yeah. And there's just one rogue pirate captain.
Oh yeah, he's the hero of this movie.
That's right.
Spoilers.
I know. What the hell, man? Jeez. So is
Um,
this around the Valdez spill?
Is
that why this is- Big?
Oh, maybe.
It made me think of that right
Yeah,
away. Anytime
I'm
there's an oil spill in the 80s movies, like I think of the Valdez.
Yeah, which always makes me think of Waterworld because I think
Yeah.
the oil tanker that they're in that one is the.
Oh, really?
I think so. I think it actually. I know it has a name on the.
It's the Exxon Valdez, and they
Okay,
have a
yeah.
picture of the captain in the
Yeah.
cabin of it.
Oh right, yeah. Let's see. So are you looking up the?
I'm looking up Valdez.
Okay.
Valdez, whatever
What'd you
you want to
find?
say it. Wow, no pressure. I'm
Come
working as
on.
hard as I can. It looks like it was 89.
Oh,
So,
that's a little bit.
It's after.
There probably was a
oh, I'm sure there was an
oil
oil
spills
spill.
before
Yeah.
this, so it wasn't necessarily.
Although I do enjoy how it gets cleaned up with
Yeah,
Not like any of that sunk to the ocean floor.
Right. Well, it would have floated on the surface, I think.
I was hoping it would just be a montage of him super cleaning fish.
Oh,
like
nice.
with
Just
some
gently
some Dawn dish
Dawn
soap.
Yeah.
But no, he just blows it into
I
the
didn't
ship.
really like the just reversing,
Yeah.
it by blowing it back in. But how else would he do it? I don't know.
Yeah.
It just
No, he couldn't.
yeah.
He couldn't take that one back. Superman can't do everything.
Right. Okay.
Oh, well, I guess he could have spun around the world and
Yeah. Changed everything.
did something.
Yeah.
Drank the oil out of the seawater. I don't know. Filtered it out his anus. I don't know.
Moving on.
Come on.
Let's see.
So the junkyard fight.
I think so, unless you guys have anything. So when the two versions split, I thought this is going to be so dumb. But
I did too.
I actually loved this fight. And basically the whole sequence. Like,
I didn't know he was going to have superpowers. The Clark version.
both of, yeah, I
Like,
didn't either.
I was very confused as to what was going on.
Sure.
Yeah. Wouldn't have been a very good fight if he didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And really, like,
I thought like one was going to get stronger and it seemed to do
Okay.
that. Like one was
Yeah.
getting stronger than the other. Like,
yeah, as Clark's morality is
yeah.
taking over.
But I didn't know if this was
basically.
really happening or if this is just an internal.
I had that note as
battle.
well, and I think I like it as being kind of in his head. Because at first I was like, how are they literally physically separating into two physical beings?
Yeah.
And that I have a little bit of a problem with,
What?
But when I as the fight goes on and as it ended with Clark literally choking the life out of this dark Superman and he just disappears, then it kind of, I was like, okay, it's all in his head, and I really like that aspect of it. So
Very Fight Club.
kind of like Fight Club, where there would be some physical damage as far
Yeah.
as like he throws himself into that machine and busts out of it. So there is that like
That's the version I want to see.
yeah.
Just him
Just
throwing
him.
himself around.
Yeah. Have like the junkyard guys that are kind of like peeking over the wall to see what's going on and see their perspective of just Clark looking like a jackass tossing himself around.
But I love how he enters the junkyard just yelling,
Yeah.
crazed out of his mind.
There were a few moments like the tires that Clark throws onto Superman, like he just stands there perfectly still waiting to get these tires thrown at him. That's pretty weak. And then
And surely he would know that he himself can
Sure.
break tires.
yeah, like I didn't get that as a how is that going to stop him?
Yeah.
And then the crane.
Even if he
that-
just flew upwards.
Yeah, I know.
Right, yeah. So that's pretty weak. And then the crane that Dark Superman lowers or drops onto Clark and just sinks him straight into the ground. Like that's a little weak, but the rest of it,
I loved that
really
because I slow-moed it,
okay.
and it is great when you go frame by frame. Oh, loved it.
Nice.
I was like, I got to see that in slow-mo.
That's awesome.
I do like when he throws him in the big crusher thing.
Yeah.
Very Star Wars.
Yeah.
Is there a weird monster in there that I don't know about that you guys know the name of?
I don't think so.
Oh, too bad.
I think Clark should have busted out of that crushing machine. I guess it was like, I don't know what that.
Oh, the
machine-
grinder.
Yeah, I think he should have busted out of that in his costume. Like, should have revealed then, like he's in
Oh, yeah.
the brighter. I mean, that way you could see them both fighting each other in a darker version and the brighter blues. But then as I didn't know this was going to end with him choking himself, essentially.
Very autoerotic.
Yeah. I don't think you want to show Superman in the classic costume choking someone. So I think it works better that he's just in Clark Kent mode. So
Also, like at the end, I think it's quite a good moment where he rips his shirt.
Sure.
And he has the costume underneath.
right.
Because I think Clark is meant to be the light,
Yeah.
and Superman could easily be the dark, even
I guess so.
just
Yeah,
because of the power associated with.
When you remove Clark's morality, you get
Because Clark's the human aspect of,
Right.
and well,
Yeah.
not that human's great, but
Right. Yeah.
I mean, without the Clark Kent, you'd get Zod Superman, like a
Kinda.
superior.
Yeah. Well, it's that same thing of if Superman would have landed anywhere else and raised by someone else with a different set of morality, you wouldn't get Superman. You'd get some asshole raised by racist rednecks, and then that guy turns into. I mean, there are so
several
many,
good comics with that
there's
storyline.
endless possibilities of who could have raised.
Because I've seen that in the movie Megamind.
Okay.
Where they have a Superman-esque raised in wealth, and then Megamind raised by prisoners.
Okay. Nice.
There's a story called Superman Red Son that I talk about a lot, where he's raised in Soviet Russia.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I've yet to read that one, but it's been on my list for a long time.
Highly recommend it. And there's another one called Superman Speeding Bullets.
Yeah, I've read that one.
Yeah, where he's raised by Thomas and Martha Wayne after their son gets shot by a mugger.
Yeah.
Nice.
And basically becomes Batman, but he's got Superman's powers, but he still dresses like a bat.
I assume there's one where, like, he's like, whatchamacallit, like raised on a different planet, maybe.
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know.
Like if he would have landed on a different.
like if he hit
altogether.
Mars or I don't know, some planet near. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that. But,
Yeah. I mean,
Or-
so many combinations.
He landed on Darkseid.
Yeah. Oh. Maybe there was. I don't know. That sounds.
What if he was his daddy?
familiar? Like he lands on Apocalypse. Yeah.
Or Darkseid.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
I
actually
knew
landed
what
on
you meant.
Darkseid.
Kills him and then.
Takes over.
then becomes him.
Yeah. Ooh.
Ooh.
I like that.
Bam. Are we stoned?
Yeah.
Right.
I was just thinking, what if he landed in Themyscira, Wonder Woman's
Ooh, yeah.
island?
Yeah. That could have been kind of cool.
They've
Yeah.
just got rid of him though. Just
Yeah, he has gender issues.
Right.
He doesn't know how to deal with being a man in a woman's world.
Yeah. Well, they could have raised him like he wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
Being a man,
He's
being,
genderless.
Yeah. Huh.
He just assumes he's a woman.
Yeah.
Doesn't know anything different.
Just knows he's different. Yeah.
Yep.
So many possibilities.
Man. See?
Let's see. I think we're done then with the second act because that's the junkyard fight. I think ends that.
Yep.
So, is ballooning the Grand Canyon a thing?
It should be.
Maybe.
I'm sure it's been done.
I guess it's not even the Grand Canyon. It's like I saw the name. It's some other canyon, but
A lesser canyon.
a lesser canyon.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
not
call
so
it the
Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
The all right canyon,
Yeah.
not the Grand. Maybe I wasn't paying attention, but how did he piece together the supercomputer with wrappers of candy bars?
Yeah.
Or whatever it was?
It's just
Like he just took random notes throughout his few months
sure.
that created a sentient computer.
Okay.
I,
It sounds good.
I don't know. I got lost in that. I was like, what's going on here?
Essentially, yeah, Gus put in an order for all these random parts, and then that
'Cause-
pile of trash with his notes on it was meant to be the configuration, I think, of like how to put all these pieces together.
Because that's what he wants as his cut of the big scheme.
Yeah, he just wants this computer that he can do anything with, and in turn, he'll do anything with it for Webster. So
you're still shackled to
yeah,
Webster.
this movie, it just feels like a cocaine-fueled mess of, what? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's like what we're doing right now, but we can produce a movie.
Yeah.
So we'd
yeah.
have redneck
Just sitting
Superman
around
living
talking
in
about
Russia.
what we could do next, yeah.
Making it Superwoman, question mark?
Yeah.
Like,
I can just picture and I always thought that the Salkinds were brothers, but apparently it's father and son. So I picture them in a hotel room, maybe with Richard Lester, just mountain of cocaine between the three of them, and then it's just, we'll do this next, yeah,
And Richard Pryor, I imagine, in this one.
Yeah,
Just-
he was probably there too. So
Did anyone else get bummed out by the Social Security comment when he saw his check for the first time?
oh no,
It's
I
like,
didn't catch that.
I want that money while I'm young. What am I going to do at
Yeah.
65? I'm like, oh, I know what you're going to be at 65. Oh, I'm sad now. Richard, you got a point. Just do what you got to do.
Yeah,
Live it up, Richard. Live it up.
man.
I got really depressed at that point. Sorry to bring it down, but I knew the future, and it was not a bright one.
Right.
We saying that, have you ever seen the movie Giant? James Dean movie?
No.
No.
It's James Dean and Rock Hudson, and it's kind of like a long story through like a number of years, and at the end of it, they're both old men, and neither of them lived to be that age, and it's very
Oh.
depressing. In fact, they came out after James Dean died.
Oh man. Yikes.
It's
Jeez, I thought I was going to be the bummer.
So, okay, let me think where we're at. So I think basically at this point you've got Superman finding out. How does he find out about the computer, the ultimate computer?
He walks into that cabin on the roof, and the sensor goes off, and the TV shows him where they're at.
Okay.
He doesn't know about the computer, though,
Right.
and he just walks into the cave and gets
Okay.
struck by
Gotcha.
what I thought
Yeah.
was Brainiac at one point,
Yeah,
because the lady gets taken over.
that was one of my notes, was that this is kind of the closest thing to Brainiac that we get, and I wish they would have leaned into it and been just make it Brainiac, you know.
I think there is definitely hints of that because
Yeah.
I read that there was an earlier
Okay.
version of the script that had
Yeah.
Brainiac.
I actually read the earlier script because it's only 8 pages, and it's not even a script. It's it's
A treatment.
a treatment by Ilya Salkind, and I was
That's right,
definitely going to
that's-
talk about it later, but it is worth a read because it is batshit crazy. But I almost wish that that's the movie that we would have gotten, because it would have been crazy, I think, in a good way. You know, I mean, it would have been as crazy as this movie, but we would have at least gotten Brainiac and some other classic elements. So
Did they test this out before just going straight to fighting Superman with it?
oh, the computer.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it.
No.
No.
And it was one of those, like, again, it can do anything they want it to if they push the right buttons.
It can
or-
figure out the unknown and
Yeah.
make the kryptonite ray.
It'll figure out his weaknesses, and it's defending itself now, and it's completely
Self-sustaining.
self-sustaining. Yeah.
Because Richard Pryor's like, it wants to live.
Yeah.
I like that just taking a screw out took the whole thing down
Oh
at first.
man. Yeah.
And then he swallows it.
Which I appreciate that.
Oh, it's so
The
ridiculous.
fact that it comes down to that one screw just right there on the surface, essentially, like right
Yeah.
there in the middle of some, like,
It's very Death Star-esque.
yeah.
I guess he designed it with a giant flaw in mind.
But I don't think so. I don't think that was his intent. Like, oh, I'll
Yeah,
make
'cause he
sure
seemed-
and put this fail-safe here.
Yeah.
Nah, I
He
don't
did
buy
seem to love it, so
it. Yes, yeah. He
it
didn't
would
want
make
to
sense.
kill it.
doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it was like Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah.
I like that the sister had enough brains for a PhD in computer programming or whatever she
Yeah,
said.
suddenly she was also
Yeah.
a computer genius.
It's like, why didn't she just do this from the get-go? Why do you need Richard Pryor?
Yeah, that's so that they can. And I have a problem with this, but they want to make sure that Gus is innocent the entire movie, even though he's not.
Yeah.
You know, he's embezzling from his company. He's, you know, an accomplice at the least, I would think, as far as the.
He had to have killed some people in Colombia.
Sure.
I
Yeah,
mean,
he seems to have
Tornado
no
and-
moral problems with anything he's asked to do
Yeah.
until the end.
Yeah. So they I think the producers, they want to make sure that Richard Pryor is a good guy. So they make the sister the take over as far as being the evil genius. Like, I have a problem with that.
yeah, it's very confusing what they're doing with him.
Yeah.
Because he's sort of weak and just does whatever
Yeah.
Webster says, but at the same time, he's trying to fight against him, but
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know.
all over the place as far as that goes. Like,
And my biggest beef with this movie is that the missile sequence where they're shooting Superman in the video game,
sure.
is a way better video game than the N64 Superman.
Oh, really?
That looks amazing in comparison
Yeah.
to the polygon version of Superman that we get. I was pissed. I was
Really?
like, I would have
never-
played that
never
game.
played it.
Just shoot Superman with missiles, and
Yeah.
the graphics weren't that bad.
They
For
really
83,
wasn't, yeah.
I was impressed.
Yeah.
Not
Oh,
too
it was
far
pretty good.
ago, we had E.T., the extraterrestrial game.
Yeah. I was surprised that they went as far as they did with that. Like,
Yeah.
literally having a score at the bottom and, like literally making it a video game. I thought that was a little weird.
But I was legit impressed and
Yeah.
annoyed that we didn't have a game that good.
So you mentioned earlier that you like how they brought back the acid, kind of as a way to defeat this machine that, is turning her into a cyborg.
Yeah, she becomes the Borg.
Yeah. I don't like that that gets reversed. Like once they've destroyed the machine, it
The pieces
leaves
fall off
her.
and she's fine.
yeah, like that. I think they should have just hey,
Because it looked like she got
Commit to it.
integrated. Like,
commit to it and make
Yeah.
her, a robot basically. Like, why not? That whole finale, it's got some good stuff with the acid is kind of cool.
but wouldn't acid still be a warning for the computer?
Yeah, I
Last
don't know
time I
why
checked it-
it doesn't perceive it as a threat.
Yeah.
They just, I don't know, because we know that
Is
if
the
it's
acidity
harmless-
level not high enough for the computer to
Apparently, it's harmless if it stays at that, whatever that ideal temperature is.
Well, he says it's just regular acid, but what does
Yeah.
that mean? Like, are we talking like fruit acid? Like
right? Yeah,
the acid in an
Citric acid,
orange?
yeah.
Like,
I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, I dug it. It was kind of like,
Sure.
again, Superman using his brain over brawn.
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, he really had to go outside the box to think of that.
Yeah,
Because it was kind of cool because he's backing away and leaving them. Like,
right.
they're like,
Yeah,
no,
I dig
Superman.
the fake out. Like, I'm just gonna leave here now.
I thought he was just going out to get some fresh sun.
That's what I thought too. Yeah,
And get that icky green ray out of him.
yeah. I don't really have too much more about the fight.
No.
Yeah.
Didn't.
I like that it. I'm so confused because it just ate through the ground, and then what? Like, shouldn't that have just gone away then? Like, why did it keep destroying everything?
What do you mean?
Didn't the canister just sink through the ground?
It started bubbling up, and it
It
like
shot a couple boards, but
spurted onto the computer itself, and
it didn't look like it got to that many pieces of the computer.
I
But
don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, it fell through the ground. Backfire. Whoops.
yeah. It would have maybe been better had he just splashed,
Yeah.
dumped the entire contents, just like
And
flung it.
why
at
can't
it,
he
maybe?
fight the fiber optic cable that's strangling him?
Don't know, because
Is
it's
it
not.
is it
kryptonite.
infused with kryptonite?
Yeah.
Like, he can get through some tires, but he can't get through some fragile fiber optic
Yeah,
cables.
I don't know.
I think it's just because computers can do anything.
Right there, you go. Yeah.
So I'm assuming everyone was paranoid in the 80s about computers,
I think so.
That's what I was going to ask. It
I think
seems
so,
like
based
it.
on some of the
because you got that war
war games,
war games,
War
yeah.
games,
Yeah.
yeah.
which was 84. I think.
And you got Short Circuit
Yeah.
with the robot that everyone's afraid of,
Yeah.
but he's just a fun-loving robot
Sure.
with
You're just having a good
his
time.
own personality that
Yeah.
somehow coincides with the Three Stooges. But
Yeah, I definitely think that it's playing into that. And we had another movie that was kind of based around like computers can do.
was it a
whatever.
Bond?
It's one
I was
of
going to say,
them.
did they not have some sort of cyber crime? At
Yeah.
some point?
I know that the next Bond movie that we do is a little bit that way as well.
So how'd you like the ending with Lana and Lois? Or do we not want to go there?
We can. I think right before that, I think the coal miner, one of the coal miners that when Superman drops Gus off at that the coal mine, I don't know.
Random coal mine.
Yeah, I think one of the coal miners is the guy that he beats up in the diner in Superman 2. The one that,
Really?
the one that beats up Clark
Oh,
right
yeah,
after
yeah,
he's
yeah.
given up his powers. I think it's the same actor. I didn't look it up, but
That scene was very strange because
Yeah.
it's meant to see like how good Superman is now that he's getting this guy a job.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, he could do better than getting this guy because he's probably gonna steal all the money.
Right. Yeah. And again, yeah, it's why is Gus innocent in all this? Like,
Yeah.
I don't get
He committed several crimes.
several. I mean, he stole from a bank by letting that ATM go nuts. You know.
Yeah. He killed many pedestrians with his traffic light fiasco.
Probably some injuries at the least.
Columbia's a disaster. I mean, Superman fixed some
and that's
things,
just what
but
we saw. I mean, and then there's still oil tankers and fights that broke out because of the gas lines. You know,
and judging by that configuration on the map, some of those tankers crashed into each other in the middle of the ocean. I'm guessing.
I just assumed they were all just sitting there.
I don't know.
You know, a couple miles.
They looked really jam packed. I don't know. Like
and he stole $85,000 from a company, whether it was an evil company or not.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I don't. Again, I think it's just they don't want to make Richard Pryor look like a bad guy. At the end of the film, I think they want people to think it's just Richard Pryor. We can't, make him evil. So
I like that he doesn't take the job.
Yeah.
I'll just walk that 9 to 10 miles.
It is weird, like how he reacts. Like, see, but then I wasn't sure. Is he going to stay and take the job because he doesn't want to walk 9 miles to not take the job? Like, I don't know.
Like, does anyone there have like a car? Give him a ride, maybe. But
right,
yeah.
Oh yeah. So you wanted to talk about the Lana and Lois at the planet?
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like that scene.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
I like seeing Lana at the paper. Like, I think she's a good addition to that. Like, I don't know, a nice wrinkle into that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like that actress.
Yeah.
Like, she did a really good job.
I thought so too. Yeah.
Her character was kind of whiny about how crappy her life was, but I guess it's legit.
Sure.
All she had was Drunky McGee.
Yeah.
And,
I think it's a little weird that Brad comes back. Like, I don't know if we needed closure with the whole Brad, thing.
So he just chased her to Metropolis?
Yeah. Because they should have been together. Like, that's a little weird.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They stopped at the coal mine so he could get a ring, the diamond.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
I was like, why did they stop there?
Yeah.
Could I borrow one of these?
It's the bit with Lois and Lana, though, where she says that Clark gave her the ring.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks to explain that it was from Superman or even like he didn't propose, like
even though he was on his knee or whatever it was when Brad walks in.
Yeah.
But it was I like the tension there, like Lois's surprise.
Yeah.
Like to that whole thing, because does she realize that that's the same girl he's writing about?
I think she does, because they're talking about her right before she comes in.
Yeah.
And she sort of reacts when her name is said.
Okay. I thought she was just reacting because they're basically the same name. Lana
double
Lang,
L's.
Yeah. Lois Lane and Lana Lang.
Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
There's also a girl, a mermaid girl that Superman dated in college called Rory Lamaris.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
What is it?
Oh, he dated somebody with a double L.
Oh.
A mermaid.
Yeah, is there a reason why it's Lana Lang and Lois Lane?
It's like Lang.
Yeah.
Lang.
Why is it so damn close?
Oh, what's close?
Yeah.
Because the writers and the...
Because I didn't know that she existed until Smallville, the TV show.
Oh, really?
I thought they were just being lazy on that show. I didn't realize she was like a character from... Is she in the comics too?
Yeah, she is, yeah.
Okay.
She came in quite a while after Lois Lane. Lois Lane's in the first issue of Action Comics #1, but she came in later. Any time they did like a story of Clark Kent in high school, she was in it.
Does this movie just end with the machine screwing up the ping pong ball thing? Is that where it ends?
I want to say...
That's the last thing I remember.
Let me think. Because I know it literally ends with him. They just reuse the shot of him out in space, flying around, doing that wave, just.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
Yeah, I mean, they just reuse it from the last
Okay.
movie, both movies. I forget if it's in the second one as well, but
I'm trying to remember what happens to Webster and his crew. I just remember them in a pile of computer stuff.
Yeah,
but do they pay that off in any way? I don't remember them going to jail.
Yeah, I don't think you see them after.
Yeah,
just
after he leaves
He
the
just leaves
canyon.
them in the cavern, covered in computer parts.
maybe. I don't remember now.
I forgot my favorite part when Superman. He's like, "I don't know you, lady." To
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah,
and her face was awesome. She's like, "Oh,
yeah.
my, it meant nothing to you."
And then
So
we
cold.
get
It's like that guy's gone.
Yeah.
Like you don't remember.
and we get
Clark was in there getting busy too.
We've got the handshake between Superman and Richard Pryor, where they do like the shake and then the grab. I don't know what to call those. Like,
Okay, so I just wanted to.
no, I don't remember.
I don't remember
it
them.
really ends.
Yeah,
Other than him, we see him in space, like we pretty much always do.
because he employs millions of people apparently.
Yeah.
So if he goes down, that's tons of people without jobs.
Yeah.
Just saying. Way to
Suppose
go,
that
Superman.
guy at the start, the old guy with the books.
Oh
Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about that
something
guy. That
else.
guy was weird and funny.
The Alfred of the group.
Yeah, like back in the day, we would have, someone stole from you.
We just wait to see what happens or whatever.
Yeah.
He was like, "We'll find him eventually." Was his plan? He's like, "We'll get him.
Yeah, that
It'll
was a
take
weird-
time. He'll screw up."
Yeah,
That's how we do it. I was like, I'm pretty sure you would have had somebody sleeping with the fishes back in your day, sir.
yeah,
He seemed like he would have been like a mobster's bookkeeper.
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, this movie ends like it began, confusing.
Yeah.
And what did we just watch?
Yeah.
It does end more like a Superman film than it starts, though.
Yeah, it starts bizarrely. I didn't even know how to compare it. It's like a.
Yeah.
It just made me think of the movie Goonies with how they had to open the gate to get to the door with like a chicken laying an egg, and like it was like a Rube Goldberg experiment.
Yeah.
It was just unnecessary setup for something that wasn't that great of a payoff.
Yeah.
And the burglar got away. Way to go, Superman.
Right.
Jeez. Oh, I meant to ask, when Superman's late to the bridge,
Oh yeah, yeah.
did anyone die?
I think the driver of the truck,
Okay.
died. That's the impression
Yeah.
I get.
Okay.
Because it
I didn't know if
ultimately,
anything happened. It was hard to tell, like, if
Yeah.
something bad happened.
I assume the driver died because that was, him basically letting everyone down by not showing up in time. But because I don't think it would have mattered if there was no driver in the truck. If it was just the truck that fell off the bridge, then it's like, well, some property damage and a wrecked truck that maybe you could have saved. But I get the impression that the driver was in the truck. So
Okay.
otherwise, it wouldn't have really mattered that much.
So I saw them pulling somebody out of the truck at the beginning, but
then maybe, I don't know.
okay, because nobody seemed like somebody was dying. It was like, I wish you were here like a minute earlier.
Yeah.
They didn't seem very somber about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I must not have been paying close enough attention to notice.
Yeah, on the bridge
Whether
they
or
were
not
pulling
someone-
people, but I mean, maybe there was
were
another
other
person
cars,
in
too.
there.
Maybe it was
Yeah.
other. I don't know.
Okay, so yeah, we end with the villains getting away and Richard Pryor getting a job from Superman after destroying many lives. So great job,
So the
Superman.
next movie's just going to be a continuation, I guess.
Yeah, I never saw this movie. I knew of it because I knew Richard Pryor was in one, but I just went straight to the Sun guy, the
Right.
Fusion Man or whatever the hell his name is,
Man.
Nuclear Man. Dolph Lundgren.
He wouldn't have been a bad.
He kind of looked like He-Man
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
when Dolph Lundgren
Yeah.
played him in Masters of the Universe.
Right.
But yeah,
I think that's Superman 3.
I think it's Superman
I
3.
think it's as near as I can tell.
Superman 3? Question mark?
Yeah.
Doesn't have a subtitle, does it? No, it doesn't.
No, they wanted to call it Superman versus Superman. And I guess the
Superman v Superman. Get it right.
Yeah. I guess the producers of Kramer versus Kramer were trying to sue by trying to capitalize on that that style of name.
Ugh.
So they decided, well, we've already got the established, just 1, 2, 3, so we'll just change it to Superman 3, and then it's not an issue.
So yeah.
So
I'm gonna go.
I guess
most heroic.
Yeah, let's do most heroic.
I believe there's a hero in all of us
I just finally know what I have to do.
that keeps us honest,
I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
gives us strength,
You will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards.
makes us noble.
And I know in my heart that it's right.
Rory, what do you got?
I had the moment at the end of Superman versus Superman where he rips his shirt open and he's back. Had him just coming back from fighting himself.
Right.
It's the most heroic moment.
Patrick?
Yeah, that's pretty much the big one, I think.
That's what I had too.
But I mean, the Superman that we know, I think, is shown with the pipe and lake rescue, plus the kid that went 3 miles away to get
we didn't talk about
trapped by I don't know how he got hurt, but it was Timmy fell down a well and Superman found and saved him just
Why
in time.
didn't he just scoop up the kid?
Yeah.
As opposed to wrecking farm equipment.
And he looked at that kid who was a teenager.
Hey, dickhead, watch where you're going.
And to be fair, that kid could see
when you see,
he's obviously
everything
there.
around it is like flattened. And
yeah.
But yeah, those were like the quintessential Superman moments.
Yeah.
But I mean, the big one is when he beats himself.
I guess you could make an argument for maybe Gus is heroic by using the fire axe against the computer, but I still don't. I can't give it to Gus as far as I still see him as a bad guy. I can't. I don't want to give it to him.
So equally tough, most villainous.
Yeah,
You were made to be ruled.
Gods are selfish beings who fly around in little red capes and don't share their power with mankind.
In the end, you will always kneel.
I think you and I are destined to do this forever.
Rory, what do you have for villainous?
well, essentially the same scene, but the other way around. It's evil Superman sort of throwing Clark in the crusher and everything.
Okay, that's yeah.
He's the most interesting villain in the film, is the evil version of Superman.
Yeah, that's true.
And I loved him, with his angry face, just disheveled.
The dark, the 5 o'clock shadow, and just looking surly.
He decently pulled that off.
I thought so, yeah.
And his rage,
Right. Yeah.
I mean, he was hamming it up, no doubt. He was angry acting. But I enjoyed
Mr.
it.
Fury from
from Mystery Men. Ben Stiller. I'm angry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I had a hard time with villainous because the bad guys are committing all kinds of various villainous acts, but it's kind of
it's just being bad to be bad.
Yeah, there wasn't one moment of
the bad guy was more of a spoiled brat than truly evil. He was just I want everything.
Yeah.
His
sister was more evil.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially at the end when, even up to right before becoming integrated with the computer, she was even more evil than at the controls of the computer than.
So it was her idea to take the oil. You're not
Yeah.
using this to its full potential.
Right. So.
And he quotes Genghis Khan. He's it's not the fact that I have all this, it's that other people, or I have to crush everyone, or something weird. It's like something, because Richard Pryor asks, you have so much.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not that I have so much, it's that everyone else needs to not have anything or something along those lines. And it's kind of weak.
Yeah.
I'd say most villainous is Brad.
Nice.
Yeah.
That guy is relentless.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like creepy,
Stalking.
calling her all the time.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh, shit. We totally forgot. What the hell with the bowling alley scene?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
oh.
why did he like not back down on the breath? Like he blew, he exploded the.
Yeah.
All but one
that was
pin.
A sneeze. That was a.
It's like if I was those kids, I would never mess with that kid again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the dark origin of that kid.
I'd be like Ricky's cool.
Yeah.
Ricky's cool.
Did you see what I did to those bowling pins? It's gonna be your face if you take my lunch money again.
Oh Lord! I mean, that kid, if he thought that he really did that, is going to be trying to recreate that,
right?
And being utterly disappointed with himself for the rest of his life. It's like
I had that one great moment.
I peaked when I was like 9 years old. He's going to turn into Brad then.
That's what. It's his dark origin story. It's him becoming the villain of his story. I don't have a good villainous, aside from just, like the various things that they do throughout the movie.
How about the producers of this movie?
Richard Lester is my villain.
All right, it's settled.
There you go.
It's the first time that's happened.
Yeah. Let's see. We talk about, I guess, kind of what holds up and doesn't. Any like standout.
That video game.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, it was cheesy as hell, but
sure.
I was impressed with the graphics.
Yeah.
For the time. I mean, that was better than any video game out there.
Yeah. I didn't have a problem with the effects, or I will say the flying effects were they were more noticeable. I noticed wires this time around.
Oh, did you?
In the other ones, I've never seen the wires. I did in this one a few times.
I thought it was a smooth transition for Bad Superman into the cab of the Crusher. Like he flew to the crushing machine and got right into the cab.
They do a really good job of taking off the motions of it, but I just noticed the wires in this time a little bit better.
I thought it did look smoother than certainly from the first one.
Yes. He flew with people better. Like with Jimmy and his broken leg, he had to be ginger and like he just didn't take off. Like he was gentle with Richard Pryor.
I definitely felt like the budget was probably quite a bit smaller with this one, because I just felt like a lot of the effects looked worse than Superman 2, like green screen and
the leaning tower was obvious.
Yeah, little things like that just looked just a little messier than they were before. So
it wasn't too bad. I mean,
it wasn't too bad.
The mirror melting was cool.
That was cool. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And although I would have liked to see him shave the beard after he beat himself, I guess. So it magically went away.
Yeah.
As soon as his evil's gone, his beard goes away.
Yeah.
Well, it magically appeared when he became evil. So.
Yeah. Let's see.
Poor Superman.
Let's do some pros and cons then. We can start with cons if that's easier.
I think we've well established the cons of this movie, that there is no real great bad guy.
Yeah.
Any of the new characters weren't very interesting at all.
Yeah. I think aside from Lana.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Lana. Yeah, I guess.
For me, a con is just that, like I've said, it felt like there was so much. They threw so much into this one. The story, I think, just became a mess.
Yeah, it was a weather satellite. It was a oil scheme. It was a supercomputer scheme.
Yeah.
It was pro.
Yeah, that was pretty much my cons all wrapped up into all that. Pro, I really liked like I said, the Reeve and O'Toole performances. I thought they were the performances I thought were good, but I thought together they were great. And then that junkyard fight was a standout.
Wow, just take all the pros right off the bat there, Travis. Jeez.
I had Christopher Reeve. His acting, as usual. I think solid.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out and say it. The weather scenes in Colombia.
Oh yeah.
I was impressed. Yeah. It wasn't bad. I mean,
yeah.
Considering, like, I mean, that wasn't that far removed from, like, I mean, it was many years removed, but effectiveness, I thought it was right up there with Twister.
I think they used real.
They used it as best as they could.
Like I think because the.
I just mean like the rain coming in, like it was tied together well with like real footage and like the tornado forming. Like it wasn't that bad considering the time this was made.
That was a good point.
I thought it was decently done for just a throwaway scene, essentially.
Yeah, because we really didn't talk about it, but I did like that bit. Yeah.
My last pro I have is Lois.
Okay.
Just in the two. Well, it's a con that there's not enough of her.
Sure. Yeah.
I really enjoyed her in the two scenes she was in.
Right on. Yeah, I didn't have a problem with her. I had a problem with removing her or not removing her altogether. Like either don't try and have it both ways, I guess. So.
See, I'm constantly conflicted with her.
Yeah.
Because I like that she's strong in some aspects throughout the series, but I'm also really grossed out by her.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
I just think she's a gross human being. Well, no, even the character.
Oh, yeah. Her like, smoking and eating and stuff.
Like, she's just weirdly gross. I'm like, Clark can do better than this, right? I mean, she's not that great a person.
Yeah.
She's very self-centered. Like, I don't know. I just don't like her as a character, really.
Something that's what I enjoy about her a lot of it, I think. Because, in contrast, especially with all these movies, they all three of them so far have had just like a dumb blonde woman with no, like, who's meant to be attractive and has no, like, interesting qualities or anything. Well, I guess talked about she is intelligent in this one, but in contrast to that, the one, like, Superman is interested in is the woman who, like, smokes and is self-centered.
Basically the opposite of himself.
Right.
Yeah. But though is intelligent and, like, committed to her job and, you know, ambitious. She has positive qualities as well, but
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just always conflicted with her. Like, I get it, but at the same time, I don't get it.
I usually really like their scenes together. It's just when, like, it's seeing her in the Daily Planet, like, usually is when I don't care for her, and just the way her performances usually are. But we don't have too much for her in this movie, so it really kind of isn't much of a.
What she does have, I enjoy. Like Rory said, I mean, it's not much, but it's
unfortunate the way they handled her.
Yeah, I would have liked more with Lana and Lois.
Yeah,
like seeing how they
Betty and Veronica kind of situation.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Let's see. Hit some overall thoughts and ratings.
Overall, I'm confused.
Bad boy up. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it was kind of fun to watch. Like, I didn't hate watching it. It was interesting to, like, I mean, it had interesting parts to it.
Right.
Like,
there was frustrating about it.
There was glimpses, like the rescues and the battle between himself, but there was just a lot of say what. So I'm conflicted.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I enjoyed that a lot. It is very confusing, as you say, but I did enjoy the time watching it. Although it was maybe a bit too long.
Yeah.
If it was maybe like an hour 40, it would have been much more enjoyable.
Well, we had to watch the computer montage for like 15 minutes of tape spinning.
I thought way too much emphasis on Richard Pryor, you know.
Yeah,
him in the beginning, him with his job,
the
with
military scene,
Smallville, with the military thing.
We watched like at least a minute and a half of him looking at that suit in the window.
That was weird. Couldn't tell if he wanted the suit.
Did he like it, or was he just like, do people wear that?
I think that was the joke. Was like, I am not in the city. You know, I think that was ultimately the joke of like, what are these people in Smallville wearing?
He's like, ironically, in Kansas now.
Yeah.
But he does get it though.
He does wear it, but I think it's more to fit in as a local. He puts on that weird white guy voice.
It fits in the voice,
he was doing his Richard Pryor as a white making fun of white people,
Yeah.
kind of material. Like
he's like, I better blend in with these people.
Yeah.
Hey there, fella. Got a flat tire, wouldn't you know?
Yeah. Oh man.
If he put whiteface on, I was gonna say this is the best movie ever. Kind of like Eddie Murphy did in that skit with SNL, where that's my favorite thing with Eddie Murphy. Goes into the bank and they just give him money because he's white. It's like, here you go, sir. He's like, what? Why, thank you.
Nice.
It's like,
I don't think Superman was ready for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think this whole movie, it's a crazy mess. Too much trying to happen all at once. Too many visual gags and just an uninteresting villain.
Well, the beginning just starts you off on the wrong foot.
It really does, especially because that's the biggest problem I had with Superman 2 were those visual gags.
Yeah.
So it was that Lester material, I think, from the previous movie that I did not like, and it just carried over. So basically, we're getting that right off the bat, and it just set the. But like you said, I tried to kind of be open to it because I really didn't know where this movie was going. Ultimately,
No.
I had seen it a few years ago, but could not remember the majority of it. So I knew that it ended up with someone being turned into like a cyborg essentially. I couldn't remember who it was exactly. But a lot of the moments I just did not remember, and so I kind of liked not knowing where it was going. But ultimately, it's like the best moments of the movie are ultimately forgettable.
How dare you, sir? I'll always remember Superman versus Superman.
That's the best moment of the movie, and that's but it's not.
I mean, I know that's all I'm going to remember of this.
Yeah.
Like a year later, I'll be like, oh yeah, the Superman
where
movie.
he fights himself. Yeah. So that's where I'm at. What are your ratings?
I'll let you go first, Travis. Lead us.
I'm giving this a 1.
Oof.
Oof.
Wow, cold-blooded.
Yeah, I didn't ultimately, like I said, didn't enjoy it. The junkyard fight is the best part of it, and that's
wow. Change this. My villainous moment is right now.
Okay.
I'm the cold-blooded. That was the most villainous thing I've heard this episode.
Nice.
All right, I'll let Rory go then. After that horrendous review.
I'm not going to be as hard on it. I'd say a 2.5 because I did have fun, regardless of whether it made sense or not.
I know. Yeah, I mean that was it. It was just like, what's going to happen next? Like it literally kept my attention just so I could figure out how batshit crazy this was going to go.
See, I just kept getting pissed off by what came next. Like the traffic fight or the.
You had to know just based on the beginning of the movie where this was going.
Yeah, but I didn't have a fun. Superman 2 really disappointed me. So once I started getting the Superman 2 elements in this one, I was just, I was ready for it to be.
See, I gave up on this movie from the get-go, so I just sat back and
that's fair.
Enjoyed the ride.
So what'd you give it?
The roller coaster. I mean, I gave it... I don't want to say 3, but I'm going to say 3, because I was just like, eh.
Okay.
It was horrible, but horribly fun to watch. like, I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. It wasn't, like, painful to watch, and that's what a lot of my rating goes on. Is like, would I watch it again? Probably.
Wow. See, I had the opposite reaction.
Yeah.
Like,
I could come back to this in, like, a couple years.
Okay. Yeah.
Just, like, if I was watching with somebody else, like, not by myself, but I could see this becoming, like, sort of one of those movies you can sit around and make fun of as you watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Mystery Science Theater-esque.
Sure.
Yeah.
Not that bad, but, you know.
Yeah.
I could see it being one of those kind of movies.
Yeah. So, ultimately, we'll give it a 2.1667.
Oh, that's too much math.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have kept a straight number there.
No.
So we got a 3, a 2.5, and a 1 from Ebenezer Scrooge over here.
Yeah, that's harsh.
Man.
I mean, I could bump it up to a 1.5, maybe.
No,
I couldn't go to a 2. There's just no way.
The fight alone is worth a 2.
The fight's definitely the best part of the movie, but
Plus, Superman gets busy.
Yeah, that's cool.
I mean, it is legit creeper.
Yeah.
Like the low lighting, and he just leans into it and just gives her the business, which I assume he does.
I think so.
And then he cold-bloodedly says, "I don't know you, lady."
I don't know. Yeah.
Considered making that my most villainous moment.
Yeah.
It's good Superman, because that is harsh.
So did he kiss himself and forgot about it?
Yeah.
Did he brainwash
Wipe
himself?
his own mind.
Because subconsciously he's got to know.
Yeah.
It's a part of him. He didn't really destroy it.
Yeah.
It's a part of him.
Yeah, because even the narrator in Fight Club, like ultimately all those memories come back to him of what Tyler Durden did versus, you know. So.
It's so random. He gets busy in the middle of this.
Yeah.
And that's his evil part. So, kids, don't get busy. It's evil.
And don't smoke.
And don't smoke.
Yeah. Like we mentioned earlier that that original treatment for Superman 3, and I'll link it in the on the site and everywhere, because it's definitely worth a read, because it's only 8 pages, like I said, but it is nuts. Like,
yeah, I'm definitely interested in that.
Okay, because it involves like Brainiac and Supergirl and Mr. Mixia's Spitlick.
Whoa, what was that last thing?
You've heard of Mr. Mixia's Spitlick?
I have no freaking idea what
Really?
you're talking about.
Yeah. Mixoplick is the easier way.
I
Yeah.
always remember how, like in the Superman animated series, when he explains how to pronounce his name, he says "Mix Ye's Pitlick." So that's how I always. But yeah, I've definitely heard.
What is he?
He's an imp, like from some dimension.
So he's like the guy in the Flintstones?
Kind of.
Yes.
He's very
He's
much
a lot like him.
Great Gazoo.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's basically what it even kind of looks like him. Big head, small body.
There's another guy from the same dimension called Batmite who is exactly him, but winds up Batman.
Yeah. He's just he's like Puck the trickster, you know? Like he just
So he's Loki.
Kind of. Yeah. But yeah, I guess
He just likes to mess with Superman.
Yeah.
Just...
The animated series did a great job with him. But
because Superman's vulnerable to magic, right?
Yes, so he can be affected by Mr. Mixia's Pitlick.
Okay, stop showing off.
Well, you can't say him.
Just call him Pitlick.
I mean,
Pitlick.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a weird. I really do wish they would have made this treatment. Like I said, would have been insane, but
as opposed to what we got.
Yeah, I think it would have been better. So. Yeah, I'll post that later for people to read. So that pretty much wraps it up for Superman 3.
Yeah. What we got next?
Next we have 1984's Toxic Avenger.
Ooh. Yeah. Get to see some boobies.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I remember about this movie.
Well, we already know what Patrick's most heroic moment is going to be.
Yep. I think it's our first movie with boobies.
Unless you count some of the
Bond.
The Bond silhouettes. You know, some of that. No, Swamp Thing.
Did we?
Yeah.
Swamp boobies?
Because she's like bathing in the swamp, and it's like real awkward when the camera pans over and reveals that he's just standing there watching
her, and she's basically standing inside of him because he's the swamp, and it's really awkward.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll find out. I've seen Toxic Avenger once, and it was a couple years ago, so it'll be interesting to rewatch.
I'm just going to be honest, I'm going to be sidetracked in this next episode. All right, so with that, we go to Rory to...
Yeah. Now is your time for plug anything you want.
All right, well, I have a YouTube channel called Hangover Reviews, where I do reviews of things to watch and do with a hangover. I'm on a break at the moment, but should be back shortly, and then it'll resume being a video every Sunday. And I also have a podcast called Doghair Presents, where we kind of just, me and my co-host Ross, take it in turns telling each other about nerdy things, pop culture things, sometimes things other than that, like history or whatever. Travis has been a guest on, talking about Spider-Man.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't remember if I ever plugged that episode on our show, just because I think the way the episodes fell, I don't remember if I ever talked about it on here. So I just listened to your Archer episode. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was a bit worried about that one before I did it. That was just going to be the two of us going, how good is Archer? For,
right.
for an hour. But
I
it
think
turned
that
out better
one's
than I remembered.
definitely good as an Archer fan. Like, I don't,
Yeah.
you know. So.
Yeah, maybe avoid that one if you've never seen it. But we've got some good. We've got a Superman episode. It was one of our first episodes, where I just talked about Superman as I do. Our most recent episode out. Well, when's this coming out?
This will be this week, so it'll post Wednesday.
Okay, so Tuesday our podcast comes out. The most recent episode, we had another guest, two guests for a YouTube channel called Two Takes, and we talked about bad movies. They're kind of bad movie specialists, so that's some of this quite nicely.
Nice, yeah.
Good segue.
Yeah, so our listeners should go check out that episode.
If you hated Superman 3 like Travis, check out that podcast for more horrible movies.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think that's all I have to plug.
Right on. Where can they hit you up on Twitter and on all that?
Yeah, I'm at Hangover Reviews, and we just throw in the podcast one is Doghair Network, at Doghair Network.
Right on.
Can never remember it. It's kind of a running theme on the show, is me being unable to remember email addresses and Twitter accounts. But
anymore, it's like I think people just default to just check the episode and like find. I mean, it's so easy to find.
If you know the name of something, you can find it.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's also easier to see it written down if you look in the description than hear me say it.
Right.
Surely.
Oh yeah.
Sure. And we'll link it here anyways, so
you
can
Thanks.
just click on that anyways. So
click or tap.
Yeah. So you can find us at realcomicheroes@gmail.com if you want to share your thoughts, and give me shit for giving Superman 3 a 1.
Don't know if anyone's going to defend it as hard as I defended Superman to be honest, but we'll find out, I guess.
Yeah. We're at Real Comic Heroes pretty much everywhere else: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can leave us a nice review on iTunes, which our friends at Nerdify have done, and I will share that. They say it's one for cinephiles and superhero geeks with a 5-star rating, and it says if you're a film history buff with I can never pronounce this word. Penchant for the nerdy.
Partial.
Yeah, I always want to go.
No, we're Americans. We just say it how we want.
Okay. If you're a film history buff with a penchant for the nerdy, then you literally couldn't ask for a better podcast. So thank you to the Nerdify guys. I know I'm looking forward. I just watched Captain America Winter Soldier, and they just did a review on it. So I'm looking forward to listening to that. And I know they just did Wonder Woman as well. So we saw that.
The one that just came out?
Friday night, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they've already got a review up on that. So
I'm going to see that tonight. Very excited about that. Yeah.
So good.
Oh, apprehensive and excited. But
heard good things.
Yeah. You should definitely find some time to take your lady, go see it. I think your daughter would be bored with it, so I wouldn't.
Really? Okay, that's what I was going to ask you.
I think it's suitable for kids, but I think it's 2 hours and 20 minutes, and it's a war movie, basically.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a bit long.
I think
she likes Guardians.
It would bore a little kid.
Yeah, but I don't know how long Guardians is. That's a little more lighthearted than
2 hours plus. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. So.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think that'll do it then, right?
I think so. Yeah. So we'll be back next time with Toxic Avenger.
All right.
Rory, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you at the Toxic Avenger site.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Meet little Melvin. He's a 90-pound weakling. Everyone hated Melvin.
I'm gonna take this mop and shove it down your throat.
They teased him.
I wanna do it with you. Okay.
They taunted him. They tormented him until he had a horrifying accident and fell into a vat of nuclear waste, transforming little Melvin into a hideously deformed creature of superhuman size and strength. Melvin became the Toxic Avenger, the first superhero born out of nuclear waste. Yes, the muggers and the rapists didn't know what law and order was until the Toxic Avenger came to town.
Holy shit! I don't know what it was, but it saved my life. All right, everybody, drop your tacos or I'll blow your brains out.
The vandals and the perverts had their way with the little people of Tromaville until the Toxic Avenger ripped them apart. The Toxic Avenger. His face is so terrifying. We can't show it to you now. You'll have to see the movie for yourself. The Toxic Avenger can bend steel with his bare hands.
No, we're only kidding. Get it?
Leap small cars in a single bound. He crushes drug pushers. Smashes hit-and-run drivers. And gives all criminals their just desserts. The Toxic Avenger.
He was a hero.
He's a hero. He's a fighter. He's a lover.
Why, Melvin, you're beautiful.
The good citizens love him. The fat and corrupt hate him.
Kill that bastard for me. You gotta kill him.
Yeah?
Will he survive? For incredible, explosive action, you must see the Toxic Avenger. He's a different kind of hero. The Toxic Avenger is coming to your town. Look out.
I really got to stop saying boobies.
Yeah.